Anantram and I had lost our son Rohit on the 22nd of March to rhabdomyosarcoma. He was 21 years old and he had a cancer in his bladder. And initially, it was a deep shock for us as a family because we only knew happiness till our child was a victim of cancer.
So there's this mother and child sitting, and the child was refusing to eat. When we went close, the child recoiled, was a little scared. So we just stood there for some time. And then the mother was telling us that the child is not eating.
She was so angry with me. She, shouted the most vulgar words to me, saying that you people have no common sense. My grandson is dying inside of cancer. It's very strange that we don't have it in our country and many other developed countries.
Do you see it that we can have it in
100%.
future?
I see the future.
Hello and welcome to my podcast, The Healing Monk. I am Dr. Suman Das, your host. Well, before we go ahead in the present episode, firstly, I would like to thank Bean Boards, Panorama Hills, the coffee shop, for supporting this episode of Healing Monk podcast. Before we go ahead, I would like to thank you for liking and also appreciating our previous episodes. But one concern is there, friends. Though you are watching, but very few of you are subscribing. Hardly 10% of you are subscribing the channel. So the subscription is kind of a validation for us. Even it will help us to get better and better guests and better contents for you. More than that, the subscription, like, share, and your comments help me and my team to work better and better and get very good content in the forthcoming episodes. So please, if you like this episode, do subscribe, give your comment, and share it with at least 2 friends of yours. Chaliye, let us move ahead in our present episode. So I'll start off with a small poem that is written. जब हमें कोई हंसाता है, गमों का एहसास को भुलाता है, कहीं वो अपने आंसुओं को छुपा के हमारे चेहरे पे मुस्कुराहट लाता है. Yes, I am talking about people who make us laugh, who make us happy. Today I have on board with me 2 doctors. They are not actually medical doctors or MBBS, but they do the same kind of healing for people. They are called as the clown doctors. So let us welcome Mompy and Bongy for this episode of The Healing Monk. Hello, Mompy and Bongy.
Hello.
Hello. Happy to be here, Dr. Suman.
So how are you?
Great. Super day.
Looking forward to talking to you.
So let us start with your introduction.
I'm Mompy, the clown doctor, but I'm also Anantram Ganapati, a chemical engineer. And today I'm an author, a certified life coach, and an advisor and a management consultant.
Great. Yourself, ma'am?
I'm Dr. Bongy. But in real life, I'm a very boring person. I'm a scientist. I was the first woman on the Antarctic mission. I'm a pioneering event manager. I have an event management company called Razzmatazz, which was one of the first in the country. I'm also an Amazon best-selling author. And most importantly, I'm a medical clown and I'm Rohit's mother.
Great to have both of you today. Well, I will consider you as kind of one of the elite citizens of Visakhapatnam, who kind of wine and dine with the elite. But today, we have our something which is close to our heart, the support that we do for the patients. And that's what we are going to mainly discuss about. So, firstly, let us tell me, what are exactly clown doctors?
Clown doctors are ordinary people doing extraordinary things, like bringing laughter into the sterile atmosphere that hospitals have. It is a palliative care,
Okay.
because we know that palliation helps, especially in terminally ill cases. At end of life, what we look at is improving the quality of life. And I think laughter is a great therapy. And I think this is where it is proven that laughter has tremendous therapeutic healing processes.
Yes.
And it's a great feeling when we enter these wards in hospitals.
Suman, for me, a happy clown is a medical clown. All of us have a joker inside us. All of us. Every individual is born with a happy, sad face. Sometimes we just forget to laugh, because once we laugh, we become that happy person that everybody wants to know. So a person who goes into a normally sad atmosphere of a hospital is totally white, isn't it? But if you go dressed like a clown with different colors, आप रंग distribute करते, you spread the happiness of color, and that's what we do. I think clowning, and that too in a medical facility, is a very integral part of being happy in an unfortunate situation.
So here I will quote a great movie, PatchAdams.
Yes.
Where Robin Williams was the actor, and he did it is a great movie. In fact, when I saw that, I laughed, I cried, and I'll quote one dialogue that was spoken in that movie. That doctor is a learned friend who goes to the ill and treats them. So that treats them is not only with medicine.
Yes.
It is also with love, with laughter, with care. So definitely it was, in fact, the PatchAdams, the movie, everyone knows that it's a movie, but it was actually one person whose name is actually PatchAdams. He lives in Illinois, and it was based on that person.
His real life story.
Yes, it's a life story.
Yes.
And he did that. So it was a great movie. And I feel whatever you are doing is quite inspired by that movie.
Yes.
So how did you decide to become the clown doctors?
Suman, I take you back to 2007. Ananthram and I had lost our son Rohit on the 22nd of March to rhabdomyosarcoma. He was 21 years old, and he had a cancer in his bladder. And initially, it was a deep shock for us as a family, because we only knew happiness till our child was a victim of cancer. But the 5 months through his treatment, our son was preparing us. We were in denial as parents. We thought doctors like you will come and help us. God will come and, give a miracle. And during the chemotherapy, during the radiation, our son used to keep laughing and enjoying. And going on, he's on telling us that, I don't know what he was doing. I think he was preparing his parents, saying that, all of us are educated. Look at the system. He was in Hinduja Hospital in Bombay. Look at the little children who are suffering. More than the children, the parents are suffering, Ma. Amma, we should do something for those parents. He kept putting it into our head. But when we lost him in March, that grief was so deep. It took us, like a wave. And almost for 3-4 months, we became very sad, and we thought life has ended. But in October that year, I'm an event manager, and my company does a lot of events, and we were doing a circus theme party at a hotel. And my boys were, my team was working on it, and suddenly I got a call around 1 o'clock saying, "Madam, we had booked a clown from Bangalore, but the flight got cancelled. The clown is not able to come. The child who is 7 years old, my client, is looking forward to having a clown. What do we do?" And it's an instinct, Immediately I said, let's do something about it. We have to be part of the solution. And I did not understand why Rohit's mother was picking up colorful cloth, going to a tailor and getting a dress stitched for herself. I was in a trance. And lo and behold, at 5 o'clock, clown walked onto the stage, and people were wondering who this clown was, because the clown did not arrive actually. And Bongy was born. Suman, I must tell you, I went there as a woman who was saving an event, as an event manager. But I found my calling, because till then I was only crying and remembering our son Rohit. But for the next half an hour, I was the center of attraction. I became such a happy person that 7-year-old client went very happy and loved the clown. But people around who knew the clown, especially my team, was sad, because they knew that their madam was sad, and they did not want to see a woman who's normally dressed in a sari or a suit look like this. And I had to counsel them on how I was happy. So I came back home and told Ananth, I said, I think I found my calling and you are joining me. He said, what is it? I said, we are going to be clowns. And he didn't think twice. PatchAdams came to us later.
Oh.
We saw the movie later. But I think it was a calling from inside, because, it happened instantly. And within a week, we had resurrected ourselves, and Rohit's parents became Mompy and Bongy. Mompy is Rohit's doll's name. Bongy is Rahul, our younger boy's doll's name. So we became their dolls, and we went to hospitals and created our agenda. Later, PatchAdams came and our curriculum changed. And we realized that it was for a purpose.
In fact, when I was watching PatchAdams, your antiques that you do on the stage, the dance, and how the children, they get involved into that, how the ladies, they get involved into that, they are excited. That was coming in my mind, and it was lovely.
Yes, sir.
And we have done, I think, 3 events together.
Yes.
And I remember the way the patients, they just dance, and after that they keep telling me, sir, we enjoyed that thing because usually these cancer awareness programs, or there kind of people will come, speak about that, you should do this, do that. But everyone listens, they attend it, but no one goes happy from there. Yes. And the first time we did that program, Victorious Vanitalu.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And people were so happy.
Yes.
People were so happy. And the way they were dancing, that moment I can never forget in my life. And you make the stage you enlighten it.
Thank you
And
so
the
much.
moment you enter onto the stage, usually with the our Tare Zameen Par, the music of Tare Zameen Par, and you just enlighten it. So when you decided to start it, so did you start it immediately, or how the process was to start?
Actually, we connected with the clown whom we knew. There was a retired commander from the Navy, Praveen Tulpule, and we had a lot of respect. See, this is also part of my event management experience. We had staged him as a clown, and Ananth and I connected with him emotionally. So Praveen was going to hospitals in Bombay. We flew to Bombay, spent a full day with Praveen. We acknowledged Praveen Tulpule as our Guruji, because he taught us how to dress, how to walk, how to talk. Now, Praveen is a professional clown. He performs as a clown, but we are not professional clowns. So we had to learn, the ropes. And we enjoyed that day because, we did not know that a face can change so much. A smile is a straight line that can make a world of difference.
Yes.
If I draw a line like this, I become happy. If I draw a line down, I go sad. The choice is ours, whether we want to be happy or do we want to be sad. So that is what Praveen taught us, and beautifully. So after that training, we came back. Anantram did a course in palliative care, and he will tell you more about it. Because it's clowning in a hospital is not just acting or jumping and dancing. It is doing something within the rules and framework. Every hospital is very clean. We are the chaos in the hospital. We bring the noise and the fun, which is not normally the situation. So when we do it, we should not step over the border. We have to do it within limits.
Within the limits.
There are things we should not say. Palliative care teaches you what you should say and what you should not say. There is so much of grief in that room. People are sad. So when we come, we should not be so happy that they wonder why are we laughing at them. And that is a reaction. So the preparation was emotionally. We were taking our child's story ahead. We understood the pain of those parents more than the children, because the children were dying. They were small toddlers. When a child falls ill, the entire ecosystem falls ill. The parents have disease. Cancer is not a disease of one patient. The whole family has cancer. So, we suffer every day. So for every parent who goes through watching their child, the sorrow is very deep. They do not know. Life is ended for them. So we go for those parents. We play with the child, but we hold the hands of those parents. So we have to do it in a way that they understand why we are doing it. We tell them our story later, but initially they wonder why we are there. So it takes us some time. There's a lot of psychological warfare here. The mind is a gymnasium, Suman. We have to play correctly.
So, like you said about cancer, but it is about any disease.
Yes.
About any disease, when we are kind of talking about being healthy. So, being healthy is like being happy even on your worst day.
Correct.
Okay. You are happy even on the worst day. So, that is being healthy. And someone is having, let us say, cancer or kidney disease or simple fever and is admitted in the hospital, and they see some kind of laughter or happiness, that will change their mind. And in fact, there is scientific literature. One was even done by Dr. PatchAdams himself. Okay, it was there. I downloaded and I read it. So the laughter, happiness, they will help us to secrete good hormones.
Yes.
Okay, and which can actually, like catecholamines, endorphins, and they will basically help us to improve our immunity and to fight the disease. Second is pain perception. When we have that smile or our mind changes, we can perceive the same pain in a different way.
Yes.
Okay. And third thing is, when you are changing their mind, suppose someone is in a kind of a depression or having that pain, and we are suddenly changing their mind, and they will shift away from that pain for that time, and maybe 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000 maybe may also kind of change their perspective from there.
Some of them recover,
Yes.
Some of them recover.
Uh-huh.
We've seen patients actually coming out of the disease just because they met us.
Yes. So that is a great thing. Another thing you said about smile. Okay. I'll tell you one thing I have noticed about smile. Okay. Is when we smile at one person, that is one thing, it will always come back.
Correct.
And it will come back with a bigger smile. Okay, I was actually thinking of a poem, just I'll tell 1 or 2 lines of that. कभी सुबह उठ के आईना में अपने परछाई को देख के स्माइल करके तो देखो. कभी बीवी के आंखों से आंखें मिलाकर स्माइल करके तो देखो. बच्चे को स्कूल छोड़ने के बाद एक बार मुड़ के स्माइल करके तो देखो. लिफ्ट में किसी पड़ोसी को मिलते हो तो एक बार स्माइल करके तो देखो. ऑफिस में कोई अजनबी को मिलते हो तो स्माइल करके तो देखो. ये स्माइल एक चीज़ है जो दोस्तों, जो कि हमेशा वापस आती है और
सूद के साथ.
And that came in my mind. In fact, I was supposed to do that, and it's, as you said about smile, it came into the mind. And that's a very beautiful thing. And smile changes the entire, what you call that, environment. It's a positive vibe that changes. So when did you first what was your first episode of clowning that you did, and which hospital, and how was it perceived? How did it start?
I think the first time we went to Mahatma Gandhi Cancer Hospital, and then we went to Apollo, we went to Homi Baba. We worked with these three hospitals very closely.
Yes.
But the first time, I think we went to Homi Baba, and that time we had a very new clown with us who was also going through chemotherapy.
Was it
Tammy
Tammy Clown?
She was an eye opener for us. The first time we were actually going to a hospital. I'm sure Ananthram will remember this. Tammy Clown was actually going through her second chemotherapy, and her mother was very worried. And she said, no, my daughter cannot make it. But Tammy was the first person in the line, and with wearing her mask and all. And that was a game show, actually. Ananth, you remember that day? It was a game show. We gave off gifts, and we were new, so we were also a little unsteady on what to expect. But the way the parents joined us and became part of the team, the dancing, the fun, the laughter, it just propelled us earlier up. And Tammy Clown says that this was one of the eye-opening parts of her therapy also. She said after that she was happier. So I think, these were all indications that we were on the right track. And that was the first event.
There is something called as even law of attraction. Like if you're happy, if you're thinking positive, then all the things surrounding you will act
work in your favor.
In your favor, and things will happen in a positive way. And this also, as you told about Tammy Clown, and she got cured.
Yes.
And in fact, all kudos to your efforts. At maybe 1% to 2% of our entire treatment, but it helps.
It helped, yes.
And one thing, one message that we leave after every program that we do as the clown doctors is the fact that we tell patients, we tell the caregivers that when you cry alone. Mm-hmm. But when you smile and laugh, the world joins you. And I think everyone likes that happy atmosphere. And I think this is some message that we want to share, that, in grief, we find loneliness.
Correct.
In laughter, we find a lot of cohesion of
compassion,
a lot of people joining us and
Correct.
laughing along with us.
So as we are discussing about parents or caregivers, how has been the response of caregivers when you approach them?
Suman, first time when we go dressed like this and people don't know what to expect. In fact, when we stand outside the room, we don't know what to expect. So we might be prepared, but we don't know what is on the other side of the room. There are moments when we enter the room and people are either shocked, surprised, or happy. There are three different categories of people. The people who are most excited to see us are the patients, because most of our patients are terminally ill children, pediatric wards. So for them, children are so pure. They have no agenda. They saw something beautiful. They are so happy. Parents are confused. They wonder why these creatures, we look like creatures to them because they're so sad. So they look at us as, why are these creatures here? Are they laughing at our pain? And the other side, you see the staff and the nursing staff, the caregivers and the doctors. For them, it's a relief. We can actually see three categories of human beings in the room. And we actually come down to the level of the child, because we know that we are not the hero. The child is the hero. The pain is the hero. We are here for a purpose. Sometimes, the children just hit us or pull our noses, or they want to destroy us. And they feel happy because they are so angry with the doctors. For the child, Mompy and Bongy are those superpower human beings who can, challenge the doctor, because we call the doctor by name. We say, doctor, come here. We give injection to the doctor. We, make fun of the doctor. So for the children, we are heroes.
It's fun, a lot of fun.
For the parents, they keep wondering, who are these people and how do we, tolerate these people? So till they know who we are, we find a mixed emotion. And it's in this mixture that, the whole happiness. Clowning is a very serious business. It is not easy.
Yeah.
It takes you a physical and emotional presence. When you go in to be a clown, everybody says, I want to be a clown. Many people want to join us. But they don't, after one or two times, they go away because either they're sad to see what they have seen. When we went to Africa, we saw children with retinoblastomas with size bigger than their head. Their eye was bigger than their head.
Yes.
And they had such malnutrition, they couldn't eat. How will they take chemo? We found ourselves, through all our makeup crying. How do we handle this? There are children who are suffering, but those children were happy to see us. And Ananth will tell you about one child that he was able to convince.
What was that?
Oh, that was a wonderful experience. So there's this mother and child sitting, and the child was refusing to eat. And when we went close, the child recoiled, was a little scared. So we just stood there for some time, and then slowly, the child hugged the mother and then kept looking at us. So I said, "Come, shall I come and sit next to you?" So we sat next to him. And then the mother was telling us that the child is not eating. So we pretended to eat and feed and all. And then a smile appeared on the child's face. We just sat there. We didn't do anything. We just kept looking. The boy felt very comfortable. And then in the next 5 minutes, he ate all his food.
He ate.
Yeah.
He had not eaten for a few days. His
And
mother
make a
had
fuss.
tears in her eyes. He had not eaten for how many days, God knows.
And he just walloped food, was very happy, and wanted to take a picture with us.
This reminds me of the same again. I'll quote the PatchAdams movie, where the first time when he noticed that compassion actually heals, when he entered by mistake accidentally into the pediatric ward, and all the children, he became like a clown there by putting the nose. And everyone was, that moment was electric, and that is when he discovered himself.
Yes.
That yes, I can help them with compassion and with support. So that, in fact, it felt me like if Raju Hirani or someone will hear this story, they will take it into some of the
as a film. It's really a worthy story for a film. Really.
It is. And actually, one more thing I would like to share here. The people who thank us, of course, the patient and the caregivers say, "Yes, thank you very much, you brought some laughter." But we are always thanked by the nurses, the other hospital caregivers, the ayahs, and the duty doctors. They say, "Sir, ma'am, can you please come more often? We are seeing so much of grief, we are seeing this thing every day. When you come, our day is made. You bring laughter into our lives, which we need a lot." So I think there's a dual advantage in this.
In fact, very good point that you told. Like, not only the patient that we are making happy, also the caregivers.
Yes.
The caregivers are also equally there,
Yes.
kind of with pain and grief,
Yes.
and this supports them. And also the nurses.
Yes.
In fact, that thing was because we live in that environment.
We see it every day.
You see it every
But
day.
yes, true. In fact, when you guys came on our hospital for the first time, I was so happy on that day. I was seeing everyone. Because that day we called nearly 50 to 70 of our old patients.
Yes.
Who had
Yes.
been who have survived for more than 5 years.
True.
Okay. And we called 50, but the attendance was nearly 100.
True.
Okay. And that gives us so much of immense pleasure.
Yes.
Like many times people ask me, how are you dealing with that stress of treating cancer patients?
True.
Because people think that cancer is it's a death sentence.
True.
So I tell them that, see, these are the people. Because whenever I see a patient who is coming to me after 5 years, I'll remember the first day when they had that, all of the family will have that stress. Even many a times, there was one patient who was their Father was around 75 or 80 years old. And someone had told them that you don't treat because he's elderly. Why do you want to give pain and all that? All this chemotherapy, radiotherapy that will give pain and all that. Then I told the son that, do you think that as a child you like to get the injection of the vaccine? No. So you did not like it. But still your father or your parents gave it forcibly.
Yes.
And that is why you did not get some diseases like polio.
True.
Okay. And today your father also may not want that, yes, I am old, why do you want to treat me? Why do you want to do this? Relatives may tell that, why do you want to do that? But we never know. He may get cured from the disease. And if he gets cured, then the life is completely different of what you are thinking today. And you won't believe, his father survived for more than 5 years.
Wonderful.
He died for some other thing. He died for some other thing.
Very true.
Maybe cardiac or something. And after his death, the son came to me, met me and thanked me that if I would not have done the treatment on that day, then you would have not survived with me for 5 years. So that's how we see, not only that, like people think whether cure hota hai ya nahi cure hota hai.
Yes. The negative thing
it's like
comes
black
first.
and white. People think it as black and white, but it's not that. It is not about cure or not cure. What we have to see is that his quality of life is good.
Yes.
He is happy and he is surviving. Even for our parents, if they survive for one more day with a treatment, without any pain or anything, then why not to do that?
Yes. Very true, very true. You know, Suman, a clown doctor's presence, this is not a show that is ticketed. Children did not buy the ticket to watch us. So their reaction is very different. I still remember once I went alone to Hyderabad to Sparsh. And since I was involved...
It's a hospice.
It's a hospice. I was involved with the hospice. I wanted to meet the children. But as I was walking into the hospital dressed as a clown, an elderly woman accosted me. And she said, "What are you doing here?" So I said, "Ma'am, I've come for this." She said, "Talk to me first." And I don't even remember whether they discussed this. She was so angry with me. She, shouted the most vulgar words to me, saying that you people have no common sense. My grandson is dying inside of cancer. And మీరు ఇలాగ వచ్చేసారు, ఇలాంటి డ్రెస్ వేసుకు వచ్చేసారు రంగుగా, మీరు ఏమనుకున్నారు about yourself? So I listened to her and she shouted so much, everybody was stopping. I said, "No, let her shout." After some time she broke into tears and she hugged me. That lady just needed that moment. She needed to get the steam out. Her grandson was dying and she didn't know how to show it. So I felt very valuable, very useful. I hugged her and I walked in. I met her grandchild. I met a few other children. After everything was over, when I came out, the OP was clear. There was nobody. Only this lady was waiting for me. It was well past lunchtime. I thought she was going to say sorry. She didn't say sorry. She walked up to me and she said, "Is there anything that you can do like this for people like me? Because I see like me, there are so many people, parents outside." And then I realized that it was not only about the child.
Yes.
There was an entire ecosystem suffering the disease.
Yeah.
So sometimes we go to an older center, we have hospices, we have gone to aged care when they had their hospice and listened to stories. Just sat next to an elderly patient. The old patient just wants to talk to you. Sometimes the patient thinks I'm his daughter. So he talks to me like, "Uma, ni gurtunda?" And everything I have to be, and you have to do role acting. So, you have to be everything, and it's beautiful because you know exactly what they are looking at you for. So, pain is such a beautiful thing, Suman. It unites everybody. And if we can understand that from the heart, then Dil Ki Baat jo hai na, nobody can read that outside. It has to be read by each person. So that is why I feel each one of us is capable of being or doing what we are doing.
Another thing that what you told is coming in my mind is, in the present day, we don't listen. People don't listen.
Correct.
People give their opinion. People just speak. Even doctors, we go to some bank for some work, we go to anywhere. Rarely we'll see people who are listening to us. And listening is so important, that learning to listen, that and feel that empathy, feel that compassion. And as doctors, I feel like whenever they come diagnosed, they hear that word cancer. First, though, they will think my mother or my son is not going to be with me.
Yes.
And the entire family will be there. I can read the face. Rarely I will see anyone who will come with a smile and all that. But mostly what I see always is they are so much stressed.
Yes.
They are tensed up. They are tensed up about the diagnosis. They are tensed up about the outcome. They are tensed up about the words like chemotherapy, radiotherapy, surgery, and there is sometimes their ear will be lost, what you call one organ will be lost, like breast being removed, and they come with so much of stress.
Yes.
And when they come, I usually on the first day spend around 35, 40 or 45 minutes with the entire family. First I listen to them, then I speak to them. I believe the entire treatment that the patient goes through, 90% is completed on that first day.
Yes.
Once they understand exactly what we are going through, what we are dealing with,
They submit themselves.
then after that, when the treatment starts and when the treatment goes off,
Yes.
we don't know.
Very true.
And one thing I commonly encounter is a big problem, in fact, is relatives.
Everybody comes with knowledge from Google, you know.
Google, actually, they are also, we cannot blame them.
They love to do it because they want
They
to
love
show
to
the-
help.
Yes,
They are
help.
kind of trying to help. But again, it's like it is helping in a negative way. And patients will be so much of tension and fear, and they will be buying everything.
True, true.
Recently, I'll tell you one patient. So he was having a cervical cancer, stage 3B. So immediately the family connected me with a known doctor, okay, who also happens to be a gynecologist in one of the district hospitals. So he asked me, doctor, first question was, what is the stage? I told it is stage 3B. So stage 3B, oh, stage 3B, so bad. Anyways, I will explain them. I wanted to tell him, boss, you also don't know what.
Yeah.
3B nowadays, I have patients who have survived for 10 years.
True. True.
And more than me, they will believe that other person.
Yes.
So it's like someone coming to me and asking whether should I give a stent for my heart block or not. I don't have knowledge about that. I should actually give it to the correct person.
Correct. Very true. Very true. Very true.
So the relatives, they try to help, but majority of the time it becomes
A negative.
in a other way.
Yes.
So how are your relatives, they reacted to when you started this?
See, luckily, I must tell you, in those days, Google Doctor was not so prevalent. We had people, obviously everybody is concerned. But luckily, we went to one of the best hospitals in the country, the Hinduja Hospital in Bombay, and we were advised very clearly by Dr. Amit Saple. He said, don't do anything in Vizag. Go to the best hospital, if you can, where all the options are available, multi-speciality hospital, so that your boy gets the best of treatment. And we just went there, we trusted the doctors, and I think that's where
Trusting the doctor is very, very important.
very full faith, whoever came. And some of the doctors who responded to us, I must narrate a small incident here, which, I think I would like to share on this podcast because it was a very important incident. Rohit had his cancer travel through the spine into the brain. So there was a blood-brain barrier. And the doctor said, now chemo is not going to help. We'll have to do radiation. He was prescribed 10 doses of radiation. It had, the cancer had invaded the meninges of his brain. And he went through the first dose of radiation. He took it very badly. He started losing control of his limbs. He had a lot of retching. And it was difficult for us as parents to see him suffer. So, the second dose was, so Dr. Kannan, who was a radiation oncologist, we asked him, he asked us, very surprisingly, the doctor asked us, do you want to continue with the radiation doses? I said, we were a little surprised why he's asking us. So he said, see, these effects are going to happen, they're going to accentuate. So I just told Dr. Kannan, if Rohit was your son, what would you do? He said, I would not continue with radiation. He says, 9 doses is more money for me and the hospital. But no, if he was my son, I would stop it. Just give him good quality of life. And that's exactly what we did.
I'll tell you actually, me being a radiation oncologist, we face the same situation usually. What happens is that the disease spread to the spine, vertebra, and it compresses the spinal cord. And the radiation is given to relieve the compression.
Correct.
And sometimes when we are not doing the treatment for treating, we are just doing the treatment so that the compression can be relieved,
yes,
and that paralysis can be avoided.
Yes.
But if the paralysis actually starts, even I have seen patients who kind of start having that paralysis, and then with radiation they have improved. Many of the patients, okay, because that compression is relieved. But if that paralysis is complete, okay, means already there is already settled, then that radiation won't help that. Okay, so that is why the doctor must have told you that yes, do not take that.
Yes.
I think the question you asked was something else, because you asked how the reaction was, the family, to us becoming clowns.
Yes, I asked about how your family and your friends, they reacted when you decided to do this. I wanted to ask that.
Doctor, being a clown gives you a lot of power. When you're dressed in your branded clothes, you feel very stylish and good. But it takes a lot of courage to remove that and get into this and, put on this atrocious hair. It takes a lot of courage. But the minute Ananth and I get into this, we become Superman and Superwoman. We become powerful. So our family, our son Rahul, he has always stood by us, and he was very proud of us from the day one. In fact, I think he will make the best clown in all of us, and one day we look forward. But, our family per se, whether it was my parents or his family, most of them were observing us, and many people thought that this is something that, pain or depression has done to them. Maybe after some time they will stop. But after 16 years of doing this, now they realize that Mompy and Bongy were serious. So now they clap the loudest for us. In fact, recently we won a national award, the Gandhi Bharat Seva Award. And I think everybody, the family was the first person to react positively. And it's a good feeling, because we know that even though they don't have the guts to become the clown that we are, they are always behind us and the force behind us.
So how do you think this clowning, this can be kind of more propagated and more we do it, even can a clown be a part of a hospital staff? in the HR, that day, when can it come?
Actually, in Israel and other countries, it's a compulsory part of palliative care in a hospital. In fact, it's very strange that we don't have it in our country and many other developed
Do you
countries.
see it that we can
It
have
should,
it in
100%.
future?
I see the future. A teaching college. We went to Africa. The teaching college, they wanted to start palliative clowning. So it's very important. A doctor can do only this much. A doctor does so much. A nurse can do only this much. A nurse does so much. But a clown, along with all of them, will add that much, because a clown is not a doctor, but is sunshine in the room. So, and not only that, it's palliative clowning. So we learn what not to say more than what to say. I think soon, very soon, there should be an entire team. In fact, it should become part of the curriculum in medical schools to have clowning or to have doctors. In fact, many of you, especially, I remember first time I met you at a clowning session. You attended one of our workshops, Dr. Suman. And, it was when you walked in, you were different from the others, because you were a person who was deeply soaked in cancer and the healing of cancer. So you were a warrior who added so much value, because you could take our story ahead so beautifully. In fact, the first time, we conduct such workshops, we had about 50 people who came.
Yes.
After that, 30 people dropped out because they thought they can't do it. But the 20 who remained, they strengthened themselves day by day. We practice skills, doing a little bit of magic. We teach them body language, dancing, singing, how to be fools. Clowns are idiots. We want to be idiots. To being an idiot is difficult. We have a master class. So that is how it is. But soon it's going to be very seriously done. And I'm sure the day is not very far when it becomes part of the curriculum.
In fact, hospitals have counselors.
Yes.
Many of the hospitals, they have counselors. In fact, I had one counselor who used to her job was to just speak to the patients.
Yes.
And it used to be the patients will come and tell me that her role is so important.
Yes.
Her role is so important. In fact, during COVID, because she was elderly, so she had to leave the job. And I have not found a replacement till now. Because again, that kind of job you cannot assign to X, Y, and Z.
It has to come from the heart.
Yes. That person has to be that kind of doing it from the heart, that he is talking from the heart and explaining, not misguiding them. And that thing, if the person doesn't have that much of commitment, you won't get that.
Yes.
I have a slightly different perspective on this. See, palliative care must be in curriculum. People must be trained in it, no doubt. You must have somebody on your staff as part of the hospital who's going to do what we do. But human nature is such that when somebody from outside does it,
Yes.
the impact is better.
Impact is, yes.
So clowning, coming as clowns, I think you should have somebody from outside.
But you don't see them daily.
Yes.
Yes.
You don't,
Something you respect an external
Yes,
factor.
They should suddenly enter, they should create that impact suddenly, Oh, we've seen this before. We don't want
Yes.
that. And that is
That's
where
true.
we are different,
That's true.
And that is where, Mompy and Bongy, that's Meenakshi and me, we are spreading the message. We are conducting more and more workshops. We would like to take it out of
Vizag also.
Vizag, of course, in the state, in the country, in the world. And we did a session in one of the universities in Kano, Nigeria,
Oh.
on clowning. We told them what it takes to be a clown. End of the day, a successful clown is one who can shed his or her ego.
That's great.
You have to shed your ego and have that positive approach in life, because we have to help in delivering that quality of life, increasing that quality of life in these patients. And I think that is the bottom line, Dr. Suman.
Great discussion, ma'am. Great discussion, sir.
Thank you.
So now we can, I think, come out of our role and I can speak with Mr. Anantram and Mrs. Meenakshi.
Yeah.
And we can take out our cap.
Yeah, all that it takes to be a clown is this and this.
Yeah, great.
Of course.
So Mr. Anantram, you're a chemical engineer, right?
Yes.
And you're a life coach as well.
Yes.
So, Mr. Anantram, like, what exactly is a life coach?
Coaching on life skills.
That's
In our journey of life, we come across a lot of people. The most important being our parents, our siblings, our children, our spouses, our friends. And what I have been observing over the past 20 plus years is that relationships have become very fragile. What used to be strong and the very foundation, they become very fragile because of this explosion in our social media, the exposure to wrong expectations. People are expecting different things.
Yeah.
And I find it very strange how spouses are not able to tolerate each other. They get married, they're not able to tolerate one another. So then I thought, I should do some life skill coaching, basically on tolerance, how to tolerate each other, how to develop a strong and a good relationship with friends, with parents, with children, with siblings. And this is where I thought that a course like this would help. So I took a certification course in life skills, wherein I teach how to build a good relationship, what kind of an attitude one should have, empathy. Empathy, unfortunately, is very rare. And everyone thinks sympathy is empathy.
Sympathy is empathy.
It is not. Empathy is just to be there, to put yourself in the other person's shoes, understand the other person's perspective. Sympathy is only lip service.
Writing rest in peace.
Yeah, yeah, rip.
Yes, that's what sympathy is.
And today when I was shocked on my birthday, I got a message, MHROTD. I was scratching my head. What is MHROTD? Many happy returns of the day.
Oh my God.
I said, somebody, wishing somebody on a birthday, an abbreviation, is that what my relationship has come down to? Somebody passed away the other day, RIP.
Yes. I really feel bad when people just write that. And in fact, my birthday, I have removed my birthday from social media platform because I don't like people kind of posting there just for the sake. Yes, I do celebrate with people who remember. And as you said, it's more superficial and it's more kind of flashy. And we are actually forgetting the
essence of why we are wishing.
Yes.
The warmth is missing. It's a frigid landscape in a relationship. Between spouses, divorce rates have gone up. So many of my students are just getting divorced. Because they can't tolerate each other. The whole institution of marriage seems to be crumbling. I don't know where we are headed. And I think as a life coach, I would just like to spread my message, take it or leave it.
In fact, marriage is something where we kind of adjust to each other, love each other, tolerate each other, and we can kind of acknowledge each other.
I think the most important quality is respect each other.
Respect each other, yes. Many of the times we see like the parents, when someone is having a disease and the husband will be telling, "Tum ruko, main bolta hu." Yeah, the wife will be telling, "No, you don't know anything, I'll tell." They don't understand.
Somebody is judging you. Yes.
When the other person is in front, and how that person is going to react. Okay. In fact, I'll tell you my episode once. We both went to my son's school, and we were talking to the teacher, and something I said to my wife, okay, tum ruko, main bolta hu. I said that. That moment only I realized what a mistake that I have done. Mistake is not about what she would have felt and all that. I knew that I hurt her. I knew that I did not keep her respect in front of the other person. I was so sorry for myself. And next time I never ever, like when we both see that when one person is talking, the other person will keep quiet. And like when we are talking to our children also, if she is scolding, I will keep quiet. I'll be away from there. Not like I'll go and save. If I am telling them something, she will not tolerate. Like she will not kind of intervene. And suppose even sometimes we see children, they talk loudly to, like once talk loudly to his mother. I told, you can't talk to her like this. We have to stand for each other, not against each other.
Yes.
And that's very, very important.
Okay, that's right.
And I think then the life coach role is big in the present day.
It's very big. There's so many areas, that we need, and at different levels in life. So I have made a beginning, and I took a certification, and I practice everything that I have learned. I have learned a lot. The best. Life skills are getting increasingly important, Dr. Suman.
In fact, we are, in the present day, we all emphasize on education. What my experience of my 47 years that has passed,
Say that.
education is important, but more than education will be hardly 15%, but more than education, it is our etiquette, it is our personality.
Yes.
Okay. Like many times people come and ask me, who is the best doctor for so-and-so surgery and all that. And like with those people with whom I am very close, I tell them, why do you need a best doctor? We need a doctor
Who knows the subject?
Yes, who knows how to treat. There is nothing called best or something. And that person should be enough to listen to you, to spend time with you, okay, and do the treatment properly. And you go best doctor, that we all tell, na, I'll go to the best doctor, I'll go to that best hospital. That is all kind of it's a hard mentality, I'll tell. It's a more of a hard mentality. It's a mental satisfaction that we think of. But actually, that's what I always feel. Many times people will ask me, tell me who is the best doctor in so and so. I always tell that there is nothing called as best doctor.
That's true.
Being an author, ma'am, you are one of the best-selling authors. Mariposa is the book, right?
Mariposa is the one that recently reached the Amazon, but I've written 2 books.
2 books before that. Okay, what are they?
My first book was a book of, it was a book of short stories called C'est la vie. And it's about real life stories where I was, mute spectator to some drama of life. In fact, some of my stories have been adapted into short films that won awards.
Oh, really?
And one of my stories, the storyline was taken by a Telugu film and it became a blockbuster movie.
What is that?
Itlu Shravani Subramaniam is the name of the movie. And the story is about, it's called Platform Number 9. It's a short story I wrote about 2 people who want to commit suicide, a boy and a girl, and they come to the same platform.
Okay.
And the whole story is about their thoughts. Why do they want to die? And finally, how they fall in love in that platform and how they, start life. So that was it was a positive story, and I was witness to this that actually happened in real life.
Really?
Yes, and I've also written stories about, cancer wards and the cheerful side of it. I think people liked my stories. But the recent book, which is on the Amazon shelf right now, is Mariposa. It's a book of poems, poetry. And my poetry is different in the sense I write blank verse, and it's all about emotions. So it's good, it's done. In fact, the second set also was printed. I'm very grateful to my readers. Ananth and I are now writing a book together. It's about the story of Rohit, our son. The storyline starts with a little boy going to a circus, and he's sitting and clapping away, and suddenly the two clowns come and they're performing, and he says, "Wow!" And everyone is loving the clowns, and he says, "Why are these clowns so familiar?" And then he stands up and sees that they're his amma and his appa. So the story starts with why his parents became clowns. Then he realizes that he is not there physically. So the whole story goes back to this boy, his life, how he came across cancer, how he lost his life to cancer, but he didn't lose himself because his parents are taking his story ahead. So the whole thing is, it's going to be a beautiful read. We're looking for a publisher, but Anand and I are. It's difficult to write a story that is so much close to our heart.
In this podcast,
The
you had
writing-
your what do you call?
Yes.
Too many, roadblocks when we start actually putting it down.
We feel pain, but we have to go through that pain
Mental
because
roadblock.
it will emancipate. I mean, it'll actually release us from our pain.
It will release you from your pain, and also it will help others to come out of their grief. That is also another thing, that it will help others to come out of their grief, which I think Rohit will kind of appreciate and love that even his story is being helping others.
He wanted us to write it. In fact, he even got a title. It wasn't about my zodiac. He's a Cancerian. So his title was, write a book, it's not about my zodiac. But we wanted to change it because, many people are born under the Cancer sign might think differently. So we have a different title to it. It's called Can Survive. So cancer survive. How people can survive cancer after the patient has gone. How families don't have to die with their patient. It's a positive story, Suman, and I hope will impact.
It will definitely.
Yeah.
It was so lovely to have you, both of you, on our podcast, and I'm sure the audience will also love it. And I hope we take forward this concept of medical clowning. The clown doctors, they will be more prevalent and will help more people to laugh, to get cured, not only with medicine but with also happiness.
Can I
And
say one thing, Suman?
yes, ma'am.
Life is a beautiful journey. When we enter a room, whether it is a cancer ward or it's an office room or just a dining room or a living room in a house, what we bring into the room is important. But what is more important is what we leave behind. So as clowns, when we enter a hospital, we always pray that God makes us strong so that when we leave the room, people remember what we have left behind. And we would like to invite people who are kind, who have empathy, who want to be clowns, because it's not easy to be a clown, but being a clown makes you a very powerful social angel. So if you want to be a clown, join us. We will train you.
Definite. So hopefully many of our viewers also will come forward. And in fact, if any of you want to join this drive of helping others as medical clown, please put in your details in the comment. We are going to reach out to you. So you have a podcast channel also, right, ma'am?
Yes, I have a podcast channel which is 2 years old. The channel is called Meet Meenamma. Now, Meenamma is this middle-aged woman who refuses to grow up, and she shares different topics of different genres. Interviewing is also part of the podcast, and I hope to have you, Suman, on my hot seat very soon. I've done pretty well, but I need a lot of support, a lot of subscriptions, and I beseech all your viewers also to subscribe to Meet Meenamma so that together we share stories, because sharing is caring.
Definitely, ma'am. So, viewers, yes, madam also has a podcast channel called as Meet Minamma. It has great stories like Made in Vizag and another
Made in India and
Made in India.
I do mysteries. I do.
And beautiful stories, in fact. Before we end, I would like to request you to definitely subscribe to our channel. Do give your comments and also let us know your viewpoint on this episode. And also you can write any news story or anything that you would like us to bring on in this podcast in the future episodes. So definitely give your comments. Thank you very much for watching till the end.